Hello, Brad. How are things?
I'm fine, thank you.
Just wanted to shoot a few questions your way about your upcoming fight and stuff like that. About Rise of Champions. No, I
Okay.
notice. I notice you're not wearing your signature hat today.
No,
The
no.
Trilby hat,
The weekend's just my day off.
just the weekends. Um, Basically, I wanted to ask you about the Reebok deal. Do you think that? I know you still come out with your Trilby hat, but do you feel like it's after stealing from the identity of the fighters a little bit? I know you, especially, you come out in the vest and the Trilby hat and stuff like that. Do you feel like people are kind of losing their identity in the sport because of the Reebok deal, or do you think it's heading in the right direction, a uniformed fighter?
It has its pros and it has its cons. The basically we will do. We will do obviously in some ways legitimize the sport a little bit better, having such a I understand like it makes it more of a sport in a way where like football teams are sponsored by have a kit and all that. So I completely understand it. But yes, it does make it a little bit harder for individuals to stand out, especially when you're inside the cage and you're all kind of wearing the same stuff. It makes it kind of hard to be different
Yeah,
unless you have tattoo or you want to dye your hair pink or something like
yeah,
that. It was a little bit of a bummer for me because, like, throughout my career for a long, long time, I turned down a lot of sponsors to be able to wear
yeah.
uh, my, 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 my costume, as you say, coming out. So yeah, it was a bit of slap in the face where I had literally no choice. But at least I got to wear my trilby, so I'm at least happy
Yeah.
about that.
The most important thing, I suppose. Um, so the move back up to 135 pounds. Do you feel more comfortable at 135 pounds? You seem to be kind of hitting your stride again now. After like the cut seemed to be drastic on you.
Um, it got to the stage. Look, after a couple of times making the weight, I don't think making the weight class. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy. It's like sucks, but it was more the style of matchups down there. I only went down there as, in a way, a business adventure. Like, obviously, I have a win over the number one guy in the world,
Yeah,
and I thought, you know what, before I retire, let me try and see if I could go down there and become a world champion.
yeah,
I don't want to be one of those guys when I look back on my career, go, I beat Dimitri Johnson before. I could go down there, I could have done that. I didn't do it, but I could have done. I didn't want to be a woulda, shoulda, coulda kind of guy.
yeah.
So I wanted to like try everything. And going down to the weight class, and it's just kind of like the styles of fights did not suit me. I was never in any danger of getting like knocked out or submitted. I think it was more the case of just trying to catch the guy.
Yeah.
They're
You,
very
you, you,
quick.
you looked a little bit more hesitant down there to kind of go like you normally would at 135. You looked like you were kind of just trying to size up your opponent.
No, it wasn't a case of that. It was like I would love to stand in front of the guy and throw bombs, but they won't stay in front of
Mm.
you. So I found that I was running after them and chasing them around the cage. And don't get me wrong, I'm not moaning about, he's not fighting. I understand that's a way of fighting, but it just didn't really. I didn't enjoy those fights, and it wasn't a case of like I did that anyway because I was trying to get a title shot, so I'd fight anybody they put in front of me. So like, so, but like I say, the style of fights didn't really suit my game and how I see this. If you locked me or any of those guys in a room and gave one of us a key, I'd come out of that room. But over 15 minutes, they could outpoint me, hit me, run away, and I mean, I get outpoints, and for me, don't get me wrong, I understand that style, but for me, once I lost a split decision to Chico Camus, it kind of like shut that door for me.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's no point in me putting my body through all this and have these styles of fights. I'd rather fight bigger guys who can stand there and fight me.
And was a factor of that down to your age as well? The fact that you said once that door kind of closed, there wouldn't be another opportunity come up, or was it just you figured that 125 wasn't for you?
Wasn't so much my age was the factor, it's just more of like, what's the point? Because like, making that weight class wasn't easy, and
Yeah.
I was, as people know, food does affect your mood, and when you're not eating a lot and you're counting berries to go training with, and my training was mainly about it was cardio. It's like my training was solely me trying to burn calories and get in shape to fight. Rather now, I can take a bit more. I don't have to go run every day and do all this sort of stuff. I could concentrate on learning stuff still, and practicing stuff rather than just doing cardio.
Yeah. It must have been nice, I suppose, to come back up and get that victory. I know you had the fight against Thomas Almeida, which, I mean, very few people could have anticipated that you'd outclass him in the first round, but you got caught the way you did in the second round. It must have been good after 3 losses in a row to get that win against Rivera back in February.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I look back at the fight, I didn't fight very well at all. I was pretty upset with my performance, but I think that was a lot to do with the pressures were on me, and it didn't matter who I was fighting really that day. It was just like I took a lot of demons going into that fight. Where yes, I lost a couple of fights, down at flyweight, came back up a thing, looking really good against Thomas Almeida, got caught, lost that. So I lost 3 in a row, and then also after that fight, I had my first child, so I took a little bit of time off. So when it came to that fight time, I hadn't actually technically won a fight in 2 years. So I'm thinking, man, have I got this anymore, and that sort of stuff. And then, and also, literally, I know it's not their fault, but it's their job, I guess. But every interview I did before the fight is, "Is this your last fight? Are you going to retire now? I mean, is this your last fight? Are you going to retire?" Kept on planting that seed in my head, and I was thinking, shit, maybe I'm too old. Maybe I can't do this anymore. Maybe and it definitely played a big factor on my performance. I didn't think I fought very well at all.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely not too old. Look at Dan Henderson. It's old seems to be the new young in the UFC these days. I suppose with your upcoming match against the
Iuri Alcantara.
Iuri Alcantara, yeah, they switched it out recently, didn't they? Yeah, that's what I was trying to.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. I was supposed to fight Henry Briones, the O2 card, and then he got injured with that one, and then I got scheduled to fight him now, and then he got injured, and now I got a new opponent. Yeah, I got Iuri Alcantara now.
Yeah.
Which, in my eyes, is a completely different matchup.
Yeah.
A harder matchup.
Yeah.
But I'm more excited about the matchup. It's like, I like the challenge. He's a southpaw and a very good striker. So, and I'm not gonna find it hard to find him in the cage. I'm gonna be running after him. So it'll be a good fight.
That's it. I mean, no disrespect to Briones, but Alcantara is more of an established name in the UFC anyway. I suppose it's that kind of. Yeah. Moving on to Rise of Champions. I mean, Rise of Champions 1 and 2 were very successful in the UK. You've got the third one coming up in October. Are you excited about it? Is there anyone that we should be looking out for on that card?
Yeah, I mean, the card hasn't been announced as yet, but I've literally got the card match. I've got it on my iPad now. As in, I do all the matchmaking.
Yeah.
I've been working really hard on that, and like I always say, Rise of Champions is what it's in the name. Basically, it's a smaller show, but it's run very professionally, and it's trying to house these young, talented athletes, trying to pave their way in the sport, how I always say, when I first started, there wasn't really a proper scene. You just fought whoever was around, and kind of thing. But now, I like to use my years of experience being around good shows, bad shows, all different types of shows, to help young athletes develop within their careers.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting times in the UK. You've Cage Warriors back. BAMMA is bigger than ever now at the moment. And I mean, especially for yourself, you're promoting a lot of amateur fighters. It must be kind of give you confidence that that there's a platform for them going forward, that it's not kind of small shows straight into the UFC, that there is that kind of bridge between.
definitely, and that was my thing. I'm not even I'm not trying to compete with Cage Warriors or Bam. They're not even my competitors in a way.
Yeah.
Because I don't really. Mine is I have a small pro card, the small part of the pro card, which is the main card, is all pro fights, and then the rest are going to be predominantly amateurs. And like I say, there's actually quite a booming scene of amateurs where you can get a good lot of amateurs, good, and I deal with a lot of good gyms as well. So the matchups are always going to be very good. So they have good competitive fights. You earn good experience, and then you go pro, and it helps you out. You know? So that's the emphasis on our show.
Yeah, I mean it's exciting times for UK MMA. You have Bisping just after winning the title. Um, like looking at the whole Bisping thing, it must have been exciting for you, a stablemate of UK MMA fighting UFC now for several years, and to see someone go and get that after a decade as well, to go and get that title. It must be kind of encouraging to all UK MMA fighters.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's very. I'll be absolutely honest. When he was fighting Ricardo, I was like, I couldn't see it. I mean, I couldn't thinking, where is he going to win this one?
It looked a bad night for him, alright, yeah.
Yeah, they took the fight on 2 weeks' notice, where his best thing is his cardio. I think he ain't going to be in great shape. He doesn't really knock people out or submit people. So I was thinking, well, how's he going to beat Luke Rockholder? But that shows you why you can't be, you can't. Yeah, this sport is crazy and very unforgiving and man, it was so inspirational seeing someone like it's such a British icon like Bisping to actually, in a way, get the cherry on top of the cake. You know, as in, like, obviously for years and years and years and years, he was trying to get the title shot.
Yeah.
Always falling over the hurdle, and in a way, gets gifted the title shot. But like then he didn't really. I mean, like. You think, man, and then to overcome everything and win it, man, it shows that he's a true pioneer of the sport, and I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, he's truly deserving, alright. Do you think he beats Hendo in Manchester?
It's actually a good one, I mean, I don't know. It's like age rage, like
Yeah.
both later on in their career and stuff. It's like even with Dan Hansen on the same card, I couldn't see him beating Hector Lombard, really.
Yeah.
But, man, I mean, it
Looks
shows
violent, yeah.
you can't neglect his power, and that's something you don't lose over time. You lose your speed and your cardio maybe and stuff like that, but you don't lose your power. And Hendo has that in abundance, so I think Bisping is definitely going to be aware of that, and especially after their first outing, I believe that he was steer clear of Hendo's right hand, not do any moving to the left hand side, always moving to the right, and I think Bisping has what it takes to retain the belt.
Very good. And I suppose being that it's in Manchester, is that a card that ideally, if the dates weren't so close, you would have looked to get on if you had not been booked before?
Yeah, definitely. I love fighting in the UK, and I don't think I'm not going to fight in the UK again. I'll definitely be fighting in the UK at some point. So yeah. Maybe for me, Europe, I like fighting in Europe. I always try and push forward to fight on the European cards because even though I train out in America, I live in England. I live in Europe, but when I do my training camps, I travel to America.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I think my market is more European based. My fan base is more, even though I do have fans out in America, I think is my longevity or my I say career after fighting would be in Europe, so it's probably better for my brand and myself to fight in European shows.
Yeah, of course. Finally, I don't want to keep you any longer. Finally, I suppose just a prediction for September 3rd.
Oh man, mate, I don't know. It's going to be a bit of a barn burner. I got a kind of same sort of feeling as Thomas Almeida kind of fight.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I could dodge the knee this time.
Yeah.
But I feel So stars of fights makes matches, and with him, I seem to do well against that kind of Brazilian shootbox sort of style with my stand up. But just my Achilles heel, those knees, so I need to make sure I don't get hit by one of those.
Yeah. Listen, thanks for your time, Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you on September 3rd.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye now.